Hello and welcome to Rebels Radio latest interview. I'm joined by Slough Joint Manager Jon Underwood. How are you, Jon?
Great, thanks, John. Very well.
Had a heavy weekend?
Yeah, I've been at a wedding this weekend. So
Irish wedding?
An Irish wedding, so yeah, not a quiet one, as you can imagine. But no, all good now.
Excellent. Just want to talk to you a little bit quickly for a few minutes today. How's your recruitment gone this season so far?
Good. Yeah, we're pleased with how it's going at the moment. Myself and Neil, obviously, as the season was ending, we had a lot of conversations about the squad and what we felt we needed to add to it. So as with any managers, we had a list of people we wanted to get in touch with. Obviously, we've given a couple of statements since the end of the season saying we're going to keep things fairly close to our chest, and we need to do that in terms of the players we've spoken to. What we don't want to do is announce a player that's coming on board and then somebody else comes in and offers him a lot more money or whatever, or maybe a higher level club comes in and we lose that player. So I think everyone understands that we've got to keep that close to our chest. I mean, what we can say is we actually we've met up with 4 potential signings, sat down, had a good chat with them. All 4 of those that we met have verbally committed to us for the season. We're pretty confident that there won't be any issues with any of them, to be honest, as confident as we can be. And we feel they'll strengthen us significantly. We feel they're in areas that we recognise we needed to address, to improve. So we're delighted, to be honest.
Are we talking centre back and centre forward there, or?
I thought you weren't going to try and push me. 4 different areas of the pitch are going to strengthen us significantly. I think we talked a lot towards the end of last season about where we came up short, and it's no secret. We actually scored a decent number of goals last year, but the goals against Column was a real disappointment, particularly for 2 managers who were centre backs by trade. It's not something that we enjoy looking at, that goals against Column. So it's something that we needed to put right. Feel a lot of it was down to experience or lack of experience in the back 4, and obviously we young keepers behind the back 4 as well. And that's something we need to address. We need some experience and some leadership back there. So 2 players have left us over the last few weeks. I think Reece York put something on Twitter to say that he was moving on. The other one is Tom Moran, and to be honest, we feel a bit sorry for both of those lads because they're both very good players. They are, their attitude and their commitment and what they gave us throughout the season was spot on. And the reason I think we probably feel a little bit sorry for them is the makeup of the back 4 when it was young at times, and you look at Reece York and Guy Hollis was a pairing a lot of the time at centre half, and to be honest, neither of them, their strength isn't their kind of communication and organisational skills. I think both of them are far better players alongside an experienced centre half, and that's where at times we struggled this season. So it's not about these lads not being good players. It's about needing the right type of players in this league now that we've had a real good look at the league, and the sides that are at the top of the league have more experience defensively than we had, and it was something we had to address. And unfortunately, the way football works, you have to make room for new players in terms of your numbers and in terms of your budget. And so yeah, Reece and Tom have moved on. We wish them both all the best. We think they'll go on, and they're both young lads that have good careers. I just think where we are at this moment in time, we just need something slightly different back there in terms of that experience, and that's what we look to address.
And talking of squad size, as you did just then, what sort of squad size are you looking to take into the next season? Previously, last few seasons, you've had perhaps a smaller squad and kept it quite tight. Is that the intention for this pre-season?
Well, we'll certainly go into pre-season training with bigger numbers. I think we're going to be. I think at the moment we're at probably 21 for pre-season. There's every chance there may be a couple more as well. We're constantly getting contacted. We get a lot of contacts, as a lot of clubs do, from kind of unknown players asking for trials, and we're not taking anybody on board that's not got any kind of pedigree. But all the time we're hearing about players here and there who maybe that are a level higher where they're not sure they're maybe going to be first choice next season, and there's a lot of situations like that we have to just consider and keep an open mind. We're happy where we are at the moment in terms of what we've got coming back. 21 is already too big. You can't go into a season with 21 players. There are players from the squad last season who didn't do themselves justice. We've spoken to every player individually. There's some good reasons why some of them we feel weren't where they needed to be. Some very different reasons. And a lot of players were given the opportunity to come back. Have hopefully gone away and worked hard over the summer, come back in pre-season and fight for a place. We've got, I say at the moment, hopefully 4 new players in that squad. We've also got 4 long-term injuries, lads with long-term injuries coming back. So it's from where we were second half of the season, there's 8 new players there. That's a big difference. And there will be players that will find it tough to get in at the start of the season. But we're very honest with players. We've told them where we felt they came up short. These players have agreed, with what we've said. Otherwise, they would have left, I'm sure. So they're coming back to try and prove a point. So what we're looking for is a very competitive pre-season. Players fighting for places, lots of competition for places. We've got 8 friendlies, so plenty of time for players to stake a claim. And still, as I say, an opportunity that 1 or 2 more might come along and might come into the mix as we approach pre-season.
Looking to head to back, getting that football out on the pitch, you've got some pre-season friendlies all lined up now. I think that's all been completed. What can you just talk us through your rationale there?
Yeah, we're really pleased with the friendlies. Actually, I think we've got a good mix of some higher sides, like we've got Hayes and Yedding and Wealdstone from the Conference South. We've got some good number of Ryman Prem sides, so at our level, which we always like to get clubs at our level. And then a few other local sides as well, like we go to Burnham and we go to Ascot. So, a few things to consider. We don't want to travel too far in pre-season. We do plenty of travelling during the season, so we try and stay fairly local pre-season. We want to play at the right type of clubs where you have a decent game and not people wanting to kick you all over the pitch, and good surfaces to play on. So things like that kind of, we wanted to tick those boxes really. We've got a good mixture of sides that we're playing. So, no, delighted really. We've got some good relationships with clubs like Met Police, Wealdstone, and that really helps when you're trying to get good friendlies. So I think it will be good competitive pre-season for us, which is what we need.
And in terms of fans having the opportunity to look at new players, for some of those who perhaps can't get to a game, is there going to be an open training session and perhaps a managers forum afterwards?
Yeah, we haven't put anything kind of in the diary as yet, but I know myself and Neil are always more than happy to have that kind of open forum and discussion. We did it last year at was it last year or the year before? Year before we did it at Farnham Park, which worked quite well. I think there's obviously things happening in the background with the new ground, and I'm sure that could be an opportunity for Steve to update the supporters on that one. So we'd be quite happy to do an open session. I'm sure we'll probably look to do that towards the end of pre-season.
And finally, league allocations have kind of been set. You know what the league layout is going to be there, but pending any appeals, obviously. What do you make of it, and what are your ambitions for next season?
I think the league will be tougher this year, even tougher than it was last year. Obviously, we lose 2 very good sides out the top in Corby and Truro. And then you lose, obviously, the 3 that were relegated, and obviously Hereford we lost along the way last season. So 4 sides that kind of struggled a little bit, if you like, and 2 very good sides. And then the 6 that are coming in, the 2 that won the leagues below, Merthyr and Kettering, the 2 sides we know pretty well. They'll be very, very strong. I think particularly Merthyr. They were really impressive last year, and I'm sure they'll add to their squad, so they'll be strong. Obviously, Leamington have come down, who were very strong in this league a few years ago when they went up, so I'm sure they'll be looking to bounce back. So that'll be tough. Kings Lynn, big club, a fair trek that one, but a good place to go. And good old-fashioned non-league club. And then the 2 in the playoffs are Stratford and Bedworth. Mm-hmm. We won't know a huge amount about, but again, like we came up in the playoffs, you come up with a lot of confidence, and they'll be looking to be competitive. So I think it will be a tough league. I think there'll be some sides that missed out, like St Neots, who will want to probably spend big, and
Poole again will be strong probably.
Poole will be strong. Hungerford are always strong. Weymouth obviously fell away towards the end of the season. I'm sure they'll they'll recruit well, and they're another big club. And then you just got a whole host of teams where we're trying to get on a level with those sorts of teams, where we fell a little bit short last season. But there's a whole host of your Dunstable, Chesham, Hitchin, Cirencester. I'll have forgotten somebody, Chippenham. All these sides that were kind of in and around mid-table last year. They all will have the ambition of getting in and around the playoffs this year. There's probably 15, 16 clubs at least that will go in thinking we want to get near the playoffs. So it's going to be very competitive. We've learnt a huge amount about the level, and I think we'll be better prepared this year.
And what's your ambitions in terms of, if we were sat here maybe 12 months down the line, where would you be hoping you finish? Is it top 10? Is it top 8? Where are we looking at?
I think we've got to look to try and establish ourselves in the top half before we can look beyond that. I think we came up very bullish last year. Probably sat here last year thinking we could take on the world and think we're going to go and get in the playoffs again. And it's just the way we are. And maybe we talk too much and we let on how confident we are. And we're going to be a little bit more cautious this year in terms of what we say and what we promise, and what in terms of our ambitions. We still don't have our own ground yet. It's a tough ask for a club like Slough at the moment to compete with some of the teams right at the top. I think we're in amongst probably a group of about another dozen teams where there's just nothing in it between us, and if we can get some momentum, there's no reason we can't get in the top half, steer clear of injuries. We need some improved performances from some of our current players, and if we can get the impact from the new players and the players coming back from injury, I think we can be more competitive. That's certainly our aim. There were too many games, particularly second half of last season, where we weren't competitive, and that was very frustrating for us and very disappointing. Myself and Neil have spent the previous 3 years in and around the playoffs, and we don't like not being competitive, and unfortunately at times we weren't. So first and foremost, we want to build a squad that's a bit stronger, a bit more streetwise, and as I say, competitive week in, week out. So I think we've got to be looking to get in the top half. I think we need to set that kind of foundation in place so that when we get into the new ground, hopefully kind of this time next year, we can maybe be a little bit more bullish. There's no reason, we can't be more ambitious than that, but let's sort of take one step at a time. Let's focus on a good start to the season and then see where we are.
Well, I'm sure for many people that can't come soon enough. Thank you very much for giving us your personal time for a bit of an update, Jon.
No problem.
Enjoy the rest of your break, and I'm sure you'll be busy thinking and planning and speaking to Mr. Baker quite a lot. So
yeah, no doubt.
Enjoy that, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you soon.
Okay, cheers. John.